Hello everyone, I'm Sudhir and this is my third Notes conference. I'm super excited to be here. It seems like we have around 140 sessions that are going to happen over 24 hours. It's so exciting to see this worldwide coverage. I'm going to talk about our product vision and roadmap at Neo4j. Before I get started, right, the world is changing. I've used this theme for last 2 years, and the change in the world is actually accelerating. And you see everything from AI adoption growing. We are seeing so many use cases that people are putting in production, but the world is getting more and more connected. And as the world gets more and more connected, that drives the data to be more connected too. And what that also means is within organizations, the data is actually way more connected than what systems are allowing them to be. And so therefore, every organization needs to transform their data to insights, and from then insights to knowledge, because all AI systems actually need knowledge and have to be powered by knowledge. And we'll talk more about it later in the session and what we are doing there. But at Neo4j, we have always believed in setting the pace of innovation. We started with our open source offering in 2007. We built our Cypher query language. I know many of the developers have told me over years, this is such a clear, simple language. The things that would take pages to do in SQL, I think we can do in Cypher in a couple of statements. Now, from there, open sourcing Cypher, making it open source project so that everybody with open Cypher, which allowed other people to adopt it. And from there, ISO announced the GQual standard, which is 90+% is Cypher, and making it even broader for the community. Along with that, having the production ready database, browser and labels got launched, distributed database with clustering, and graph data science, and native vector support that we launched recently. So I think we just believe in innovating and making it more and more easier for everyone to actually adopt Neo4j. And the other aspect of this is every business is a graph. You think about it, right? Everything you do within a business, between employees and suppliers and product and customers, every entity, when you put it together and start thinking about what use cases you want to go enable, it looks like a graph. And unless you can connect these disparate objects together to go ahead and make sense of them, it's super hard to innovate in organizations. And that's exactly what we look at when we think about where the trends are going and what product innovations we are going to bring to market. And there are three key trends I have seen that drive most of the innovation that we are driving internally. Number one is cloud computing. Cloud computing, a majority of your new databases that are being deployed are getting deployed in cloud. Whether they use our fully managed offering or just deploying in cloud environments, it's a very big trend, and we try to make sure we are investing heavily in becoming more cloud native as an offering. The second big thing is data growth and complexity. As I said, every business is a graph, and as the world is getting more and more connected, the data needs to get more connected. And how do we support that scale, that complexity of data within a platform is what we care a lot about. And then finally, Gen AI and agentic AI. I think AI has just transformed how people are building applications. What's going to come next is the next wave of agents and applications that are all AI powered. And we want to make sure that we are the platform of choice for these kind of applications. So with that, our core vision of the product is we want to be the premium trusted cloud native graph intelligence platform. And I'm going to close it out with what I mean by graph intelligence platform, but it's the whole portfolio of capabilities we have across all clouds and on-prem. Of course, wherever you want your data to be, we want to be there. It's easy to use and enables AI accuracy. And we want to target developers, and this conference is all about our practitioners and developers, but also data analysts and data scientists. With that in mind, there are 4 key areas that we invest heavily in, and we will try to break it down today in each one of them. First, being cloud first. I want all of you to just focus on building applications, getting value from data, converting it into graphs and leveraging it. I don't want you to waste your time on installing a database and managing a database and all. So cloud first is all about how do we make it easier for you to build applications by not worrying about infrastructure. Second is ease of use. I'm a big believer in ease of use. I want 5 seconds for you guys to sign up. I want 5 minutes for you to get a wow experience with your data in form of graph. And you should get value out of real graph use cases within days, not like months and weeks. And then finally, AI accuracy. Like GraphRAG is the best way for retrieving information from your knowledge graph or knowledge basis or any kind of information set within your enterprise. And then trusted fundamentals like scalability and all the other capabilities that you look for. So let's first start with the cloud first. As over the past few years, we have focused a lot on our cloud offering. We have a service that now runs on all 3 major cloud providers. We provide you 3.5 nines availability. You can scale to higher and higher, larger and larger machine types. We now go up to terabyte of memory, and with more innovations coming on the storage and RAM, you can actually build really large graphs on top of Aura. We automate your backups. You don't have to worry about anything. And we already manage more than 30,000 databases with Aura. Think about that scale. We have 30,000 databases. It's all run automatically. Everything just happens. You just go ahead and build applications and run with them. It's all our problem how we manage it. And then on top of that, we have massive amount of innovation happening in Aura. I don't expect you to know every line, and I'm not going to go through each one of them. It's not even possible. But every week, every day, we basically are shipping new capabilities. This chart is pretty old now, but it just shows you the velocity of what we are shipping. And then we now also introduced in this year 2 more offerings. So what we did was we said we have a free database where any developer can come and build applications. But many of you told us, hey, that is pretty limiting. How can I get even bigger sizes, bigger graphs that I want to go build and try the product out? So what we did was we took our professional edition, and now we have a free trial available. So you can, if you have a real use case that requires much bigger instance sizes than what free database allows to have, then you can now use a free trial. You pay nothing, no credit card required. You basically use it for 14 days and then decide whether you want to continue and start paying for the bigger capacity. And we also introduced this business critical edition, wherein we provide a lower cost compared to our virtual dedicated cloud instance with 3 machine cluster. So much higher availability for you. It's great for like business critical applications within your environment. And virtual dedicated cloud is actually the enterprise, a completely isolated environment and all. All the security features and everything between business critical and virtual dedicated cloud are same. We give fine-grained access control and everything. Private link is the only one that's coming soon, but I think most of them will be similar. Only difference is virtual dedicated cloud runs within its own customer account, so therefore it's more isolation that you get. But the most important thing, as I said, is now you have this multiple SKUs, and based on your workload and use case, you can decide what kind of database you want, and then you can just start leveraging that from the platform. One of the other things for scale out architectures, if you need a lot more usage, you can easily spin up secondaries. You can say up to 15 secondaries. Your application goes viral and you want more and more users to use it. You can easily add more secondaries for read scalability. And of course, everything at the core of it is like, security, like how we are adding more and more security features for you. We just launched IP filtering, so only from specific IP addresses people can use your database and all of that. So I think we are making it more secure for you to build applications and launch them. One of the other big asks that everybody has been telling me about is we had the RAM to disk ratio, which is pretty low, which is 1:2. So if you had a graph of 8 terabytes, 8 gigabytes, you had to buy 4 gig RAM with it. So it's 1:2 ratio, which actually is not, in many use cases, it's okay to have a lesser RAM and much more bigger database on the disk. So adjustable storage now gives you flexibility to decide how much RAM you want. So you could say, I want 16 gigs of RAM, but I want 128 gigs of storage on disks because I don't use all the nodes and relationships all the time. I only need 16 gigs to be cached, and rest can be on the disk, and we are okay with the performance that comes out of that. So this will reduce your price significantly for the kind of use cases you want to run based on your profile of your applications that you want to go ahead and have. Additional to that, we also have multi-DB coming in very soon. So we are already working with EAP customers to allow you to create in one single instance of Neo4j, have multiple databases. So you can have hundreds of databases on a single deployment of the database, and you only pay for the aggregate, whatever the database instance is, not for individual databases at that point. So super excited about multi-DB as one of the options. Now, one of the biggest innovations that we launched earlier in the year is we took GDS. Many of you love GDS. We have 65 plus algorithms. People have been using them for many years. But one of the pain points that many of you all told us is, hey, but it actually has to run either in the same space as the database. And if it is running there, it takes up all the memory. And then what happens, and how do you get reliability? And what happens if I have 5 different analysts or data scientists want to run like 5 different algorithms at the same time? How will the capacity management work? And also pricing, like you're charging me for this whole thing all the time, but algorithms only run few times in a day. We heard you all. And for that, what we did was we took GDS outside of our database and said we are going to run it as a completely serverless offering in Aura. The beauty of this is now your data can live anywhere in the world. It could be in Databricks, it could be in S3, it could be in BigQuery, Snowflake, or Neo4j database. And you can literally take that, create a projection in the serverless offering, and run any graph algorithm, take the results, and actually store it back wherever your data lives. So now GDS, and we call it Graph Analytics because it allows you to do large-scale analysis, is completely open to any data anywhere. And on top of that, it's serverless. What it means is we only spin up the capacity that you need when you request for it. And once your session is completed, once your algorithm is run, you shut it down and you only pay for the amount of time the machine was running. This is beautiful because now you're not paying 24/7, 365 days in a year for something that you may be using only twice or thrice a week. And another nature of this service then is if you have 20 analysts that want to run different algorithms simultaneously, you can spin up 20 different machines or 20 different sessions and then close them as they are getting done, which means there is complete isolation between the workloads that people are running. I'm super excited about this, and I would love for many of you to start playing with this, especially from data that may not be in Neo4j today. And so if you are in Neo4j, we make it even easier with cipher statements. If you're outside, you can use a notebook and start playing with sessions, and you will spend just pennies in many cases for running these algorithms. So that's the infrastructure part. Like we want to make sure you focus on building applications and not on the infrastructure, making it easy so you never have to worry about spinning it up, managing backups and all that. The second big area of innovation for me is ease of use. My goal is to make sure that all of you are able to get value as early as possible from our infrastructure. So in that scenario, first of all, we have unified the whole console and the whole experience into one single tool. I won't be able to show demo today, but I'm pretty sure there are various sessions we are going to do demos in. But it allows you to go ahead and do everything from spinning up a machine. You can do a data import from any platform. You can do it from object storage. You can do it from Snowflake, Databricks, or any kind of a relational database. Even Salesforce, you can, in few clicks, you can just go get that data, model from there. We create AI-powered data modeling, which basically means we will automatically generate a graph model for you based on the incoming data. And then with one click, you can actually start importing data into Neo4j. In less than 5 minutes, you should be able to get your data inside Neo4j based on the size of data, of course, how much time it takes for import, but the process should not take more than a couple of minutes for you to go through. Once that happens, you can immediately jump onto the browser or the query editor which is really advanced now. You will see a few cool things we have also done in other platforms with that. And then you can use Bloom as well as AI-powered dashboards. AI-powered dashboards are beautiful. You just go tell what kind of dashboard you're looking for, and it will pop up like a beautiful set of dashboards on the schema or the database that you have. So going from importing data into Neo4j to getting beautiful dashboards should be like just few minutes of work that you can do. I would love for you guys to check it out and let us know how we have done in this and where we can improve. Another surface that is super critical is all of you are actually building applications and you're writing code, and how do we make it easier and easier for you to get that experience simplified. So with VS Code extension, we took it over. I know it was open source. We have an engineering team focused on it. We basically have done some amazing work there. Other than the core extension, we have like dedicated query results panel that you can see now, very similar to what you would see in a query in the Aura console. We're giving that kind of a whole graph experience to you. In addition to that, now we have like version specific linting. So based on the version that you're using, we'll give you hints and all that you need to go ahead and use. So that's why I think VS Code experience has been super simplified. I would love to hear if you have any other requests on this and where we can improve. Other than that, our drivers, we keep improving them. We are going to the latest Java version. GraphQL now is available. Like it's just a one-click thing in Aura. Just say I want GraphQL. We spin up the GraphQL service for you. You can start building applications. Query API, many of our customers told us, hey, Bolt protocol is great, but in my company, they block any other port outside of HTTP. So we said, okay, fine. The best thing to do is we'll just give you the HTTP API, and you can go ahead and leverage that for all the different use cases. So our query API is now completely available. Most of our tools now work with query API. So we're making it easier for you to transition from Bolt to this. And then, of course, we are working on like, MCP servers. I will get back to this. There's a lot more work we are doing in that. Other than that, another thing I'm super close to my heart is Desktop V2. We launched Desktop V2. Literally what we did, we took our Aura console, stripped it off with all the infrastructure pieces, and actually landed all the capabilities we are building in Desktop V2. This includes like dashboards, and this will include everything. So everything you can do in on the console, we should be able to allow you to do that on desktop so that your development experience is super easy. One of the things that will be coming soon is your ability to log in with your Aura login directly in desktop. Once you do that, your experience becomes even better because everything you're building now it's connected to cloud, your cloud databases. You can have an Aura free database, then you start using it. You can use the dashboard with that. You can build things. And more importantly, deploy to cloud is one of the use cases that many of you asked for. Like you want to build locally, but you want to run it in cloud, and making that transition super simple is the next thing that we are working on. And you will see some of these launches coming out very soon. That's on desktop. But you know what? Many of you are like, okay, that's fine, but I could actually use cloud because I'm always connected. I'm working from my home. I don't have to run locally. I'm not flying in a flight that I'm disconnected. How do we make it easy? So what we did was, now you can actually go in Aura console and register your database, including the local machine database that you want to use. And you just create a connection for that. And all user tools in Aura. And Aura is easier because you don't have to keep your desktop versions updated and get the latest. We always ship the latest in Aura. So the Aura console, all the tools can work with your self-deployed database. So this is beautiful because now you can use local machine, you can use community edition, you can use any of the Aura databases or enterprise edition. Anywhere it's deployed, we can connect to it and give you all developer experience are seamless from the console. And finally, one of the other things I will touch upon quickly is many of you have seen this where there are lots of Neo4j databases running within an enterprise. We are also providing a fleet management capability. So it's a fleet manager, which will allow you to manage not just Aura databases, but also self-managed databases. You can see all of them. You can start monitoring them. You can get alerts from them and all of that. So I'm super excited about that. Because yes, developing something is the first step. After that, managing and monitoring is critical. And so this allows you to take away that pain point. With that, the next big wave that I want to talk about is AI. And if you look at it, AI is changing how we develop applications, right? Everywhere it's the same thing. And what is really changing is we used to build applications in a predefined workflow with simple CRUD, right? We took what the human process was and we coded it in form of UI. And the backbone of that was some kind of a database that stored the data. But now we are moving more towards this agentic space wherein you will have dynamic, context-aware, and autonomous applications. You will focus on what work needs to be done, not what user flow that you need to run through. And for example, if you want to detect fraud, you don't need human workflows around it. You just need, hey, detect fraud. I want to autonomously go ahead and lock the accounts down, send a notification, see what happens and all that. So you can do those kind of applications. And what that would require is that means software engineering has to change. It will change from static logic that was hard-coded in applications to dynamic reasoning based on different tools that are available to the reasoning engines. You'll go from request response to goal-oriented. You will go from monolith application to this composable system where every task is available as a tool and the reasoning engines can go through it. You will go from code-centric to prompt-driven. So you can tell in prompts what you want and you will get the response or actions done based on that. And finally, you will go from CRUD to context. And CRUD to context is this ability to bring knowledge to the applications or to the Gen AI systems, right? Gen AI or LLMs, large language models, are really good at language statistics creativity. But when you take your enterprise data, transform it into knowledge, now you can bring these worlds together and provide the context that the LLM requires to make better decisions. And with that, that's where GraphRAG comes in. GraphRAG is nothing but a RAG where your retrieval is a knowledge graph. The path is a knowledge graph for that. And I think if you look at it, it's pretty simple. You ask a question, it goes to the agent. The agent has a reasoning engine which looks at all the available tools, figures out what kind of answer I can get from each one of those tools. It could be vector plus graph retriever. It could be text to cipher. It could be a custom written tool. And then it goes to the database and extracts it out. So that's the agentic whole platform. And then you take the response back to the LM to respond to the user. And then the response goes back. So that's how the agentic GraphRAG works. And we are actually automating all of this through Aura agents. That's the main thing there's one thing I want you all to go home and try out is Aura agents. This gives you much higher accuracy. GraphRAG is easier from development perspective because think about vectors. Some numbers we will never understand, but in graphs, you can really figure out what the data means, not just like some numbers. And then it improves governance and explainability. So if you look at GraphRAG, it's really a better way of building agentic systems. And in Neo4j, there are three main things we are focused on. One, we want to be the most powerful database for GraphRAG. Second is we want to be really developer friendly. This is what I mean. Aura agents, you can build an agent, make it available as a natural language interface in less than 5 minutes. That's my goal, and you should try it out. And deep integrations across the AI ecosystem. So within that, for the database side, one, we have vector support that we added. Second, we have GraphRAG package in Python. So if you want to use Python, you can start building construct knowledge graph. You can do retrievers and all of that from it. We are integrated into most of the Gen AI ecosystem. So from LangChain to Llama Index to Haystack to Spring to all the cloud providers, we are all integrated across every platform. And then we are also launching a bunch of MCP servers. So you can have Neo4j database and GDS MCP server, which is already available now in beta from our engineering team. You will have MCP server that will be hosted in Aura. So you don't even have to go install it anywhere. And then Aura management and all, we will have MCP server for that. So MCP is a big deal for us. Everything is going to have MCP servers for it. Finally, as I said, the most important thing that we are announcing, and it's available in beta now for just a couple of weeks, is Aura agents. What is Aura agents? Simple. If you move your data into Neo4j, You can use our data import tool. In 5 minutes, you can get data from Databricks, Snowflake, CSV, whatever system you want. And you can build an agent in less than 5 minutes. We take care of all the reasoning engines. So our agent platform actually has a reasoning engine. We have orchestrated the reasoning engine completely. So you don't have to worry about it. You just say, here is my database. Here are the tools I want to provide. And tools are nothing but cipher statements, custom cipher that you want. We, by default, can do text to cipher. But you can actually provide custom cipher that actually is super high value to you. And the reasoning engine will go through the right tool to answer your questions. So again, like within 5 minutes, you should be able to get your first agent ready. If there's one thing you do after these 24 hours of listening to things, go build out an agent, try it out and see how easy it is. With that, the final thing that I do want to highlight is our fundamentals and scalability. We have done lots and lots of investment in the core database, from performance and scalability, from block format, parallel runtime, CDC, autonomous clustering. I have talked about it in past notes, so I'm not going to go in details of that. There have been a lot of language enhancements that we have done. Conditional queries is becoming much more simpler. We launched quantified graph patterns and quantified path patterns to make it easy to search through the graph. We also added cipher versioning. One of my themes is I do not want to break any customer once they are deployed on Neo4j. So version compatibility, forward and backward compatibility is super critical. And cipher versioning is going to allow us to go ahead and do that. Also security and operations. We basically now have schema support. We are getting better and better. I saw graph type as the newest thing that we are coming out with. But now you do constraints on nodes, relationships, and also graph types. But the most interesting thing and most exciting thing according to me is not that. I think it is based on the autonomous clustering. We have actually innovated more in last few years. We always had this replicated graph, which is 3-node, 4-node clusters. You can go deploy anything you want in that configuration. With Fabric, you can have many of these graphs and then you can talk to them through composite, right? Like you can basically question, like, run queries across multiple graphs. So you can have a supply chain graph, you can have a parts graph, and then you run a query across both of them as an aggregate query. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I think you have been using it. But one thing was always the case. I used to always hear Neo4j can't scale. Of course, you can use Fabric and scale it, but users will have to go shard the data and all. InfiniGraph, we now allow you to have one single graph that can be massive scale, ACID compliant. It is hundreds of terabytes it will support. A single system, which is like completely supporting transactions and analytics. And what it allows you to do is build massive scale graph with the same interface. Your application logic does not change. Your programming algorithm doesn't change. All the user tools will work. But behind the scenes, we can shard it in many, many machines. And super excited about this. And going from replicated as the regular deployment of a Neo4j graph to a sharded graph is going to be completely seamless. You just basically go ahead and start adding property shards, and we will do automatic sharding on that. With that, I think the most important thing is, like, we want to come back to this building a graph intelligence platform for you all, so you can actually build amazing applications on top of it. And when I talk about graph intelligence platform, it is 3 layers. The bottommost layer is our core database and graph algorithms that we provide you, AI-powered tools